That's
Far
what you
away.
Hey everyone, Andy Hall, BigZebra.com. How you doing, Big Zebra? You doing okay?
I am all right. I'm awake, which is unusual, and I'm enjoying it.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, I'm awake too. Am I enjoying it? I suppose I am. Oh man,
I
I
am.
just completely did the rookie mistake in having my second screen, the volume on, but now it's silenced.
I understand. I've done that too.
Yes.
The I had a question about you and your set and Seabiscuit.
Yes. Yes. Ask away.
The Jesus finger puppet is missing, and I'm wondering if Seabiscuit had something to do with it,
Uh,
and is she holding our Savior hostage?
I've been I've been fingering Jesus. I'm gonna admit this on camera. I've
Hmm?
been fingering Jesus off and on again. Um, it's consensual. What's up?
Yes.
What's up? What's up, Jenna? BFA. Good to see you. So yes, I keep Jesus here because I need to
Okay.
be closer to my Lord, and
Yes.
that's what I need right here. Oh, it's Groundhog Day. That's right.
Is it
Today is.
February 2nd is Groundhog Day?
I guess it is. I heard that the groundhog though just died. What's up, Dog Templeman? How you
Good
doing?
morning, y'all.
Jesus says hello.
Tobin. Tobin, you can speak. He's muted.
It's
Okay.
Black History Month. Or, yeah, this month
It
is
is Black
Black
History
History
Month.
Month.
That's right. So,
Suppose it is. Oh, of course it is. Yes.
yep. I've been fingering Jesus. That's right. And but like I said, Jesus likes it. Chris Maria, Jesus likes it.
I heard some disturbing news about the Canadian truck protest in Ottawa.
Oh yes.
And apparently, thank you, Jenna. um, Apparently, the truck drivers are affiliated with crazy white nationalist nonsense. And I hope that someone isn't just using character assassination on them, but it may very well be true.
I would not be surprised, being that we're a tribalistic species, and that and I wouldn't be surprised that people who are fighting what vaccine mandate
Mm,
might be a little crazy that way. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised
mm.
because here in the states, at least, as you probably have as we have covered many times, the fascists are the ones who are really anti-vaccine mandate and anti-maskers.
Right. Okay, I think we have Tobin with us now. I hear him.
Tobin, can you hear me? Tobin, how
I
was your
can
show
hear
last
y'all. Can y'all
night?
hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how was the you were on the Tang Network last night? How did that go?
Yeah,
I've heard good things.
that was fun. That was fun, and I wish that we get to continue because really I only got started. Like I'm still in my telling my story from whenever I was like a child, like
Mm.
in elementary. We didn't even get into the teenage years and all that, the
Mm.
good stuff.
Well, John Christian says it was a good show.
Oh, that's
I
right. You
like
were
hanging
on
out with Ozzy.
Kang, weren't you, Tobin? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Hmm. It's all good.
Yeah.
It it
No,
is
go on,
up there
Tobin.
on the internet. You can it is up there. If you miss it, that's the nice thing about the internet. You can go back.
I'm going to look for it right now, and I'll post the link in chat.
Oh, that's good. I appreciate that, dude.
Oh, it's doing little things like this helps. It's not like someone's asking for the world.
Oh.
Tang,
So,
and it just makes everything better.
how long was the whole show for, Tobin?
It was a little over an hour.
Okay, yeah, that's good length, right? Those are typically good length conversations. I feel that whenever I do an interview, um, I can get everything I need to get in an hour. I feel that 90%, 95% of the time, if I interview someone for more than an hour, I feel like I'm not as fresh or that the conversation is lagging. And so yeah, people, and if you listen to people, to podcasters who do, and I'm going to talk about Joe Rogan again. Even when I was watching Joe Rogan before he completely went crazy, these long form interviews that he did, these conversations, after an hour, sometimes even after only 40 minutes or so, they were not impressive. They were not good.
Okay, the
Yeah,
link is up.
you
I'm
need
impressed
a
though
pee
that
break.
Oh, you need a pee break. Oh, you're right about that. You're right about that.
yeah, a comfort break. There's
A comfort break.
I was impressed sometimes when he was interviewing people I wasn't interested in, and he somehow made it interesting.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't want to tune in. Not that you can tune in anymore.
Hmm.
Um, if he's going to tell us how he's taking ivermectin, I just don't even want to hear that stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that as he's, and you can see this with a lot of comedians, if they get pushback from a
Hmm.
lot of people, they'll just double down. They'll just
Mm.
double down on it because it seems that a lot of us who are in the funny business, we have a resistance to being told what to do. It's irrational. That's what it is. It's an irrational thing.
Well, the stand-up comedians have it so hard. There aren't many jobs where drunk people show up and try and ruin your workday.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I guess a bit of stubbornness is appropriate, but not in this case. Wow.
Right.
Okay, the link to Tobin is up, and we will all watch him. I am saving it right now.
Well, no one's going to call you names, Cryptomaria. I am, yeah. At least I don't think anyone's calling you names here. I am interested. The more I hear, and I have to tell you, I've been a solipsistic citizen of the United States, and I haven't really looked too much into the truckers' resistance there. And I'll take a closer look at it.
Yeah, actually, Cryptomaria, I'd be really interested because I don't typically watch Trudeau's news conferences, but if he's lying about something, I would want to know. So if you
Yeah.
if you
Feel
can
free to
refer
put
me
in
to
a link.
the
I mean,
website,
I think
I'd like to hear.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Trudeau has had some real whoppers where his cabinet has been caught doing something stupid, and then he mumbles an apology,
Sure.
and
Sure.
he's become the king of apologies.
Yeah. So, Cryptomaria, I just made you a moderator. I thought you were a moderator before, but if you want to throw in a link about anything about the situation over there, feel free to.
Thanks, Cryptomaria.
Oh, really? Simply Secular Dave. Well, this is interesting. I think we can have this conversation civilly and rationally. You look at the people who are the face, and Simply Secular Dave says, two of the organizers of the GoFundMe campaign preach about replacement theory. Well, that's I'll take it. I'll take a closer look because it's.
I'm surprised truckers are against homosexuality because they drive all alone for all that time, and then they have to park in the same lots overnight, and it gets lonely on the road.
I'm sure not all truckers,
Mhm.
but yeah. So I want to get back to the tank thing. So what were the kind of questions? Was it like an open-ended conversation? They were just general. Did Oz have specific questions? For you, Toby?
Oh no, he likes to have it to where for this series that he's doing on What's Your Story. It's basically just a free for all. He's gonna ask questions as the story evolves.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ever listen to, I don't know how many people here followed me from since the old days of the Naked Diner podcast. I was doing it with Jack Maturko. But whenever we did interviews, I always over prepared, had a list of questions. And of course, we kind of like improv off that, right? We always just kind of like did ask questions as they came up and everything. But I always loved preparing about what to ask a person.
Oh, that's always a good practice.
Yeah.
And if you get a lull, you can refer to one of your questions.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Actually, um, Dr. Josh Bowen, I have Wes is helping me schedule guests for the show. Well, it's for the YouTube channel. So Dr. Josh is coming on. I'm reading through his book
Mm.
on slavery in the Bible, and so when he comes on, I will be obsessively prepared.
Can I ask you to ask him a very specific question? Because Dr. Josh and I have a game where we ask each other questions in the style of Darth Dawkins.
Oh yes, Darth Dawkins.
Yes, and it's a lot of fun. And he can completely bamboozle me with questions that are exactly like Darth Dawkins, but
Yeah.
I can't even figure out what the subject of the sentence is. He's really good.
Well, the thing. Well, okay. So, right. Once again, I'm also reading. Hey, what's up? Theoretically, I'm also reading through the Richard Feynman memoir. You must be joking.
Yes, it's a great book.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm about halfway through it right now. I'm trying to blast through that before getting into Dr. Josh's book. But once again, if you cannot explain something simply, then you do not understand that thing.
Mm.
And so, hey, what's up, Dragons of Genesis? So whenever you're watching someone, typically on the intertubes, right, on on YouTube, and they specifically obfuscate, so they specifically hide what they're trying to say with 3-syllable words, there's a good chance they're either intentionally trying to confuse you, or they don't really understand what they're talking about. Like Joe Rogan, that like in that segment we did just a few minutes ago on the first show. You're using the word to define the word. Maybe you don't understand it in the way that you think you do.
Mm.
Tobin, I suppose, Dragons in Genesis says that you're the muscle. You're going to hit people if they don't hit the like button.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, good. I'm glad that you've accepted your role as the muscle.
I'm a little, do I want to hit people? What does he say? Hit? I'm gonna hit people. I would encourage people to hit that like button, though. I mean,
Mhm.
showing some, appreciation, and it also helps the algorithm from what I understand.
Yeah.
Mm.
Help us find more people that are like-minded. And let it feed the algorithm.
Hey,
Yes.
that reminds me. Why don't we all go to the share button and share it to our Facebook right now?
No, that would be. That would, I feel if I tried something like that, I would probably close out the show unexpectedly. But if you shared the first show in particular, that would be good. All right.
That would be even better. But too late. I just shared this one.
Okay, that's fine. That's allowed. You won't get any demerits for that.
Hmm. And I haven't said the F word so far this show.
I mean, we're almost 15 minutes into the show, and there have been no yellow cards given. So yes, might be personal best for us all, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Maybe I'm improving as a zebra.
Maybe you are, Big Z.
There you go.
Oh, well, actually, Miss Biscuit is doing well. The girlfriend's not here, D Parks, and so Biscuit, it's just me and Biscuit, and and typically the girlfriend, I'm going to do a karate chop here to show you how real serious I am. Typically, the girlfriend is here all day because she works from home. She's not going back into the office until February, maybe later than that. So Biscuit is left on her own for like maybe 6 or 7 hours while I'm off doing my grand day job. So I feel a little guilty about that. I feel like I should have a cat cam or some kind of. But yeah, you know, the cat's doing well. I am managing without the girlfriend to keep me, you know, in check. I've been filling my time with just working, and keeping myself occupied.
Hmm.
In fact, I was working on a new bit for Only Sky, a new satirical bit about the books that are replacing the banned books.
I like that.
Now, it's if I do say so myself, sir, it is pretty brilliant.
That is great.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Maybe it's time to spread rumors that these school boards are going to get rid of books for the wrong reasons.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they're going to get rid of Black Beauty because of its stance on race relations.
Sure, sure. Oh, that's funny too. I like that. I like that. It's already February, and yeah, I don't think she's going back into the office anytime soon, dude. I don't think she is. Oh, the horoscope one. You know, I did the scientific horoscope on Only Joking, and
Yeah.
what it is, it's just talking about in a clever way. I hope it's a little clever. Is that it's about news, like real science articles, right? So it isn't just mumbo jumbo horoscope stuff, but it's talking about and referring to real science in an accessible way. Oh, so good. Yes, not good. So it's so good indeed. I'm hoping to do these horoscope stories once a week on Sundays. So there should be another horoscope bit out this Sunday.
Right on.
Yeah. So things are going. I'm going out drinking on Saturday. That's
Excellent.
Yeah. With my get into trouble friend. So we're doing that. That should be fun.
You could get into a bar fight.
I've never gotten into a bar fight, and I have gotten into trouble at a bar, and I'll tell you the story, right? So we were, I've used the voice, right? There's the voice of command, there's the voice of getting people to compel people to do things that maybe they wouldn't normally want to do. So it's one of my Jedi tricks. And you have to use it very prudently. You have to use it prudently. So we're in a crowded bar. We started drinking early, of course. We started drinking. We actually had just been moving me into my new house. This is like maybe 20 years ago. And so we've been working all day, my buddy and I, and we were at this little Irish pub in town, you know, in the town that I had just moved into. And and we were sitting. We had put our coats down, and we weren't sitting at the bar proper, but there was the little Irish shelf, right? You have the little shelf where you can stand. There's stools. We had our coats there. We had pretty much staked out our territory. So I come back from getting my pint. I think I was drinking Black and Tans that night, and I saw this young man, maybe 22 or so, and he's obviously in my spot. He knows he's in my spot. And then I say one word, move. And he just gets out of my way. And I'm going, this was the best fucking trick ever. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get myself yellow card, Andy?
At least it wasn't me this time.
It wasn't you. So Dragons in Genesis. You really? I have a vid of me dealing with my... Are you kidding me? Are you really? You do not. You do not. Is that really true? I want to look at it.
This is the best version of Rick rolling ever.
This was pretty good. that was good. Dragons of Genesis.
That's great.
You know, it is crazy about how you have these dash cam videos of people just like shooting out their windshields during a road rage incident. You know, Crazy. Yeah, so that was the closest I ever got into getting into a bar fight, was telling this young adult to get out of my way, move. It was hilarious.
And so straight and to the point.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you do, yeah. There's some dark arts about, you know, that they teach you in psychology, right? That they teach you how to de-escalate people, or sometimes just get people to do what you want them to do. And sometimes it's just saying move, or just using it simple, simple command.
There's an old Canadian joke about if you have a swimming pool full of Canadians, how do you get them out of the pool?
Huh?
You say, "Hey, get out of the pool." And it's funny enough, I guess.
I'm surprised that there isn't the word please there, but I understand. With
Yes.
the joke, you want to keep it short, right? You want to keep it short.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Maybe we should write down our favorite little stories like Dr. Kennard has just given us and do a show about them sometime.
So,
because we all must have a lot of them when you add them up.
oh yeah. The best my best bar fight line was, one of you is going to fight me and one of you is going to carry your friend to the hospital. That's really funny. That's really funny.
That's wonderful.
That's a good line. That's a good line.
See, the stories are already piling up.
Right. Well, I mean, if John Hudson was here, he would start going through. I think he has an encyclopedia. He has like a list of bar fight stories.
Mm.
Yeah.
I actually ended up talking to John until like 1:15, 1:16
Oh yeah.
in the morning. I'm surprised he's not here.
Well, maybe it was. Well, that guy's always busy, man.
Yeah.
There's a moose in the pool. I see that. Yeah. Yeah, but he has grandkids and
Yes.
people.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. And his son-in-law is now got COVID, so he's got more responsibility with the kids. That's right.
yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of my personal stories is about me avoiding trouble or getting into trouble and not, like the times I got held up or whatever. It's not me getting into trouble as much as me getting out of trouble.
I had a funny one I'd like to tell about me at a bus shelter at university.
Okay, a bus shelter.
Yeah, like when it rains and you go into a shelter while you wait for the bus.
Oh, right. Okay, sure.
So the way I'm walking, I'm walking to the bus stop, and I'm following the route the bus would take through the university.
Mhm.
And as I round this corner, it's raining, and kind of heavily. It's raining, and I see that the bus shelter is packed, just packed. And so I'm going to get wet. And I have this sudden moment of inspiration. And I look round behind my back and I pretend to see that the bus is coming. The bus shelter folks wouldn't be able to see that. So I look over my shoulder, start walking purposefully to the bus stop while digging in my pockets for change.
No, smooth.
Now, then the bus shelter gets about 4 or 5 people get out of the bus shelter and line up for the bus stop, because why not have me wait even longer in the rain, they figure.
Right.
So I walk up to the line that's just formed, walk past them and go into the bus shelter, which now has room. and I start giggling. And I'm watching the people lined up at the bus stop outside where it's raining, and they're looking kind of confused because the bus isn't coming. And they're sort of looking at each other, and they haven't realized they have been conned.
Conned.
Yes, and it was not a long con, but it was a short con.
Well, you were able to achieve your goals,
Yeah.
and maybe people were so confused they didn't realize that you conned them, so you didn't
Yeah.
have to pay the price, right?
And it's interesting. Like you didn't even say anything, right? It
No,
was
no.
just all body language.
Yes. And I just, I felt such a sense of accomplishment because those people could have waited in comfort out of the rain, but
Yeah,
instead they had to line up right away to make sure that I got wet.
yeah.
And now I'm not getting wet and they are. And it was just, wonderful,
I will tell you this is that my natural, maybe it's spectrumy kind of tendency of not doing what everyone else is doing at the time
Mm.
has paid off dividends for me. Yeah, yeah, it's helped me quite a bit. It's like, I don't think that's right. I think I'm going to stay right where I am. Good luck.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
people are bad about making assumptions. They will jump to things so quickly. It's strange.
Yeah. Um,
Mhm.
well, Marmaduke Scarlet says, just saying the voice works, even if you're slightly below average size woman, too. Oh, yeah. The most powerful weapon you have, I mean, one of the most powerful weapons you have is your voice,
Or is that a Dune reference? Because the voice is an element of
that is, yeah, the Dune. It is Dune. Yeah, the voice. A friend of mine used to do defense training for, high schoolers, and that was one of the major principles is that your voice, your judgment, of course, being the first one, but being able to use your voice effectively, um, it's quite important. And of course, I used to do de-escalation trainings too
Mhm.
for staff members who had when I was working with people with disabilities, and sometimes things got kind of scary and hairy, and yeah, being able to modulate the tone of your voice and the pace in which you're and the pace in which you're speaking um, can definitely help smooth out a lot of tough situations.
Hmm.
But it is, yeah, Dune, definitely the voice.
Yeah, the de-escalation training is a great idea. I know that cops have it in Canada. I hope they have it in the U.S.
Well, it's called shooting practice. Sorry.
De-escalate this. Bang, bang,
But,
bang.
but you get the definite impression that there isn't a lot of de-escalation training, or there isn't a culture of de-escalation in a lot of police departments here in the states. Yeah, Tobin's going. Yeah, there's none of that. There's none of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
excuse me.
Yeah,
certainly.
like where I grew up in my little town, the cops were pretty cool. They were not that hard on us.
Yeah,
There were particular cops that were, you know, those bricks, but like Pasadena,
hmm.
there's some counties, that surrounded us that I learned very quickly that oh, it gets real out here real fast.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I've
yeah,
been hit. I've had my moments.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Marmaduke Scarlet says American cops are taught to be afraid, not good. Well, there once again, it's a question of being, this kind of divide that we have in this country about whether or not we're going to be a nurturing society, or if we're going to be focused primarily on punishment. And the punishment part, as we can see, is from evangelical Christianity. It's punishment focused. So yeah, fear is the mind killer. That's right, Myra Duke Scarlet.
I rather liked the David Lynch Dune movie for all its faults, but I haven't seen the new Denis Villeneuve version.
I saw the new. Well, the new version is, I believe, in two parts. I saw the first half
Yes.
um, on streaming service, and I thought it was, there were some odd choices. They definitely made, and I don't want to give away anything, but there were a lot of different choices in terms of how it looks, in how, because the David Lynch movie, you feel like it's basically the Austro-Hungarian Empire in space, something from the 19th century, which I like. I like that vibe. I like the look. but the new series doesn't go that way. And yeah, and I'll keep my critique to that, since there might be people who want to see the new Dune movie or the newer version of it. I will say this: when we went in, because I saw it in the theater, the David Lynch version of Dune, and I knew the movie was going to be in trouble because because they gave you a flyer. They gave you a flyer of terms, like vocabulary terms, to understand the movie. Now, I had already read the book when I went to go see Dune, so I didn't know. But if this was your first pass at Dune, I think the movie came out in like 1988 or something like that. If you have vocabulary words to memorize before watching a movie, maybe there's something wrong there.
Yeah, somebody like me, like it takes me times to like I have to like see a word and then use it, and like multiple times before I like to really get the concept. I'd probably end up getting lost in that movie.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that. I think one of the because I'm so kind of obsessive about certain topics, I just go over the same material, or I go over different material that covers the same information. So it kind of like sticks in my brain.
Sure.
But like I said, if that's your first pass at Dune, that was a heavy lift for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also there's a terrible tradition in science fiction where if you're reading a science fiction novel, they have a scene early on that explains everything for you. And it's like a lecture for new recruits or something. And they tell them everything they would already know.
Yeah.
And so it really clunks. And Dune, the David Lynch version, had that with a brief history of the known universe. See, and it was embarrassing,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that when Star Wars did the scroll, if you're going to do an exposition dump, and the Star Wars scroll is like what, a minute or so, I mean, that's not long. And I think that's, they did it visually interesting. It was short. They had that great John Williams soundtrack. So,
yeah,
I think that was beautiful.
and there's a tradition of Flash Gordon doing it, and they were doing a callback to Flash Gordon.
That's right, Flash Gordon. Hey, what's up, John Hudson? First Dune, 1984. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I was still in high school when the first Dune came out.
My first year in university was 1983.
Oh wow. So I guess you're the senior zebra here.
I'm the chief zebra. Yeah.
You're the chief zebra.
Yeah. First among equals.
Right. Yeah, I read the book a couple of times. I like it so much, Dune. Yeah. Looking forward to the second movie of Dune.
Yeah, I've seen a few clips, and it seems to be like if you're indoors, the color palette is gray. But I don't know that for certain.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same kind of brilliant colors that the Lynch movie had.
Brutalist architecture.
Brutalist?
Yes, that's a phrase. That's the actual.
Oh, word. I know. Boston, Massachusetts, the city hall. You haven't seen brutalist architecture, my friend, until you've seen. You can Google it. Anyone wants to Google Boston City Hall.
I'm going to do that right now.
That is brutalist
Boston
architecture.
City Hall.
Yeah, Boston City Hall. It is something that, and the way that it was designed, it's not a very comfortable building, from what I understand. Drafty in some places, leaky in some places.
Oh my God! Is that ever brutalist architecture?
That is, yeah.
It's to make you feel small and insignificant as you approach.
It is, it is,
and make you feel there abandon all hope, ye who enter.
It really does. I don't want to get too geeky on this, but I guess this is like the geek hour. I'm a fan of Bauhaus architecture, and brutalism is like this kind of Bauhaus on steroids kind of thing, right? A natural progression there. You were 3 years in your first mortgage in 1984, John Hudson, huh? Yep. Yeah, if you, I don't understand brutalist architecture. Yeah, well, it's as Big Z said, it definitely does make you feel small. Um,
Imposing and heartless,
yeah,
no
yeah,
personality.
mm,
You can find um, interesting elements to it, but you don't like it.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
At least that's how I feel. Somebody obviously likes it; they choose it.
It was trendy. It was trendy, obviously, for a period of time.
Yeah, think Soviets under Stalin, the buildings they would create. That's
Yes, yes. I'm going through. Oh, a guy from the Bauhaus School designed my favorite fountain pen. Interesting.
hmm,
Actually, the girlfriend and I and my kids were going to New York um, for a couple of days later on
hmm,
this month, and I don't think I'm going to be. Oh, by the way, I probably won't be streaming for those days when I'm in New York. But they're doing a in the Guggenheim, the one with the dome, the drum, the drum
yes.
and everything in New York City. They're doing a Kandinsky, and Kandinsky was part of the.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're going to be
By
checking that exhibit out.
by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, you're not supposed to walk up the ramp at the Guggenheim. You're supposed to take the elevator and work your way down. Okay, so it's not a long haul walking up. The idea of the Guggenheim is you walk down a long ramp and enjoy your stroll.
The best time I had at the Guggenheim was when there was no art visible
Hmm?
on the walls, and it was more. You like Kandinsky? Yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely vibe the artist there, Margaret Scarlett. And you're right, Imaginary God. Life is short. 20 years apart is nothing in time. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. There's another wonderful gallery in New York City, aside from the obvious ones like the Met and the MoMA, Museum of Modern Art. There's a place called the Frick Gallery, and it doesn't come up in a lot of recommendations, but
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, when you walk in there, it's a gallery that has the largest proportion to amazing masterpieces than anything else.
Really?
Oh yeah, you're walking around and like, oh, here's a Turner, here's
Yeah,
another Turner,
yeah.
here's Saint Francis in the Wilderness. Oh
Mm-hmm.
wait, and what is his name? I've forgotten the name. This artist who does stunning portraits, but they're full length,
Yep.
and I will try and find the name of the artist. But at any rate, I would recommend the Frick Gallery, which is right around in the downtown area.
I see what you. I thought Kandinsky was that guy that helped people kill themselves, right? With the Kandinsky machine. um, Years ago, my
Dr.
before
Kevorkian.
Dr. Kevorkian, right, right, right. Um, I was at a Klimt museum in New York City, and it was a legitimate museum. Of course, had a bunch of Klimt art, and it was in a renovated person's house, and it was free. And I was going out with this girl, and we had a really good time. I had a really good time. And I have another story about, and I've told this story before, so I'm not going to tell it again. It was the time that we were dancing, and then a bunch of young girls came over to her and said, "Hey, I guess I'm going to tell it anyway because I started telling it anyway." And so I'm going to tell it in a crappy way. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do the bit because I'm not going to do it right. But the Klimt Museum was pretty cool. No, Kandinsky was the Unabomber. Indeed.
Hmm. Okay, I found the name of the painter and put him into chat.
Oh, Whistler. Is this like Whistler's mother kind of Whistler?
This is James McNeill Whistler, and I don't know if it's the same one.
Hmm.
The no, probably not.
Probably not. I don't know what it
Here,
looks like.
here is a link to the Frick collection.
All right, so I'm going to finish the story. Matthew asked me to finish the
Yes,
story.
go finish that story.
So we were going to this museum, and it was a Klimt museum in New York City, and it had I believe it was a private collection of Klimt, and it had all the famous Klimt pieces. So afterwards, we went to this bar, of course, and we just started drinking. And if you're in a bar long enough, then sometimes it turns into a dance club, right? Sometimes it does. And and my girlfriend, she liked to dance, and I do not, of course, because me. And so, but I gotten so drunk that it's like, yeah, sure, I'll dance with you. You're super hot. You've convinced me to do many things I wouldn't normally do. Even though this is like 5 or 6 years ago, I still looked basically like this. I'm still, I was a dude in my 40s at that time, upper 40s. And so we're on the dance floor, and I am typically one of the oldest people in either the bar that I go to, and wherever, I typically go to. And so I had to go to the bathroom. And and I just want to say, this girl, she was younger than I was, not crazy young either, not crazy young, but she looked a lot younger. So she was about 13 years younger than I was, but she looked like she was at least 20 years younger or more. So I went to the bathroom, and these young adult women came over to her, and she goes, do you want us to save you? She goes, and this is like, and they go, do you want us to save you? And she goes, from who? From what? It's from that creepy old guy that you're dancing with.
Wow.
And she goes, you want to save me from my boyfriend?
Creepy old guy. You could reduce that to cog.
I could. You're right.
Save you from the cog.
So that's just one of my funny dating stories that aren't really that traumatic. It isn't a traumatic story. It's just a funny story.
And there again, there's people making assumptions that they have no clues. They have no, anything that would help them arrive at that decision. Just like at the bus stop with Big Z.
Well, yeah, people, it's Matthew, sure, dude. I do like telling this story, but the thing is, I have I just don't want to feel like I'm doing the same stories, the same bits over and over again there. But I'm glad that you liked it.
I'm kind of like that too. Like, I will start a movie, and sometimes it's really bad, but I have to see it all the way to the end. I need to see it resolved. There are some movies that are bad enough that I will just turn it off. I will ignore it. But sometimes I have to see it resolved. Like, how are they going to end it? It will drive me crazy.
Oh yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, so that's my Klimt story.
Oh.
So just to let you all know, once again, on Friday, I'm doing the show early at 7 a.m. because I have to go. I'm supposed to go into work early. I guess I am going into work early, and because someone is out, and one of the other drivers is out, so I'm going to be doing this at 7. Normal show at 7 to 7:25, and then the after party from up until 8 o'clock, from like 7:30 to 8 o'clock. So.
Well, it's worked out before when you've changed the time.
It has,
So maybe YouTube isn't like TV, where if you change the date or time of a show, it's a disaster.
This is true. YouTube is not TV, thankfully. So, though there are definitely more popular times that people stream, right? There are definitely people like Saturday, Sunday, those are far more exciting times, or there's more people on the internet to stream. But this is the best for me. This is the best for me. No, that's way too early for me. I know, Dave, you're out on the West Coast, so that's like what, 4 o'clock in the morning? Yeah. Yeah, and believe me, I mean, I'm happy with my workload right now, and but as I look at it, if I help out on the days, and this is just how crazy work is here. I want to make sure that I want to make as many friends as I can for as long as I can before they know the real me. At work. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it too with like Kendra. Like, I know that eventually, because there's some diehard religious people here.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that moment to where they're like, "But you're so nice. How can you be an atheist?"
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, we're supposed to have blood dripping from our fangs if we're atheists.
Well, and on matters, in those situations, in these really just off the cuff situations, I can typically be pretty okay and give a good response, right? Something that isn't really like too defensive. But and you've seen it, you can probably see it here, is that the longer I'm interacting in that kind of environment, the greater the chances I'm just going to start shooting my mouth off and start talking about the things I really want to say. So that's difficult in Kendra's situation. I mean, she has to work in that environment hours and hours and hours and hours. I would have difficulty doing that.
Apropos of nothing, did you hear the weird science news a couple of days ago? Well,
What's
you
weird?
know how some frogs will regrow limbs?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Well, not all frogs can do this, but someone
Sure.
has been able to prompt a frog to do this.
Is it with electricity?
No, that although that does make them jump. They use a collection of sort of like froggy stem cells, and then put a cup over it, so they're contained on the limb stump, and
Interesting.
it starts growing back. And it's kind of curious because often the limbs grow back. They often aren't perfectly the right size, so they aren't symmetrical to the other side. And they don't have nails or whatever the frog equivalent of it is.
Interesting.
But it does happen and it does work. So, next stop, mammalia. And
So I got to ask you, did you hear about this on the Joe Rogan podcast?
no, I did not. I saw it on some various websites.
Okay.
Which,
All right.
Where is it now? The Weather Channel?
The Weather Channel.
Yeah, maybe that's just a joke name or something. No, it's the legitimate Weather Channel.
Okay.
There's something really quite odd about it, is because there's this weird ass university in Canada called Laurentian University, and occasionally this little university in the middle of nowhere, because you'd have to go there to realize just how in the middle of nowhere it is.
Right.
And they come out with some really weird stuff. Like there was the God machine, where you strap on something that looks like a football helmet.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
it
the God
zaps
helmet.
your head. Yeah,
God-
and it
yeah,
zaps you
right.
with magnetic stuff, and
Yeah.
you get
If you
the
haven't
feeling.
seen the video of the God helmet, there's after you're done with the show or whenever you want to tell you the truth, just YouTube it, and yeah, there's a helmet that if you put it on, it gives you the impression that there is a presence in the room with you.
That's interesting. I have not seen that yet.
Yeah. Check it out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this has been duplicated by in both of these studies. I don't know if they've been duplicated by others. So that's a caveat right there.
Right.
But a lot of people can't get money to test someone else's research, so it's not a denunciation either.
Right,
It
right.
it hasn't been double tested yet.
What's up,
That
Richard?
is a strange concept, though. Like, I've thought about that, like like being in a group of people and you want somebody's attention, but you can't really yell out to them, and you can't sit there and wave your arms all crazy at them, and you like intently stare at them. Like, eventually they will make eye contact with you. And
Mm.
sometimes some people will be like, "Oh, I felt you looking at me." Is it that you really feel like the presence, or that somebody's looking at you, or is it just the odds of you turning around and making eye contact?
I think
You
it's
know,
more the latter than the former, because people only remember the times. See, it's they only remember the times that they turned around and actually caught someone staring at them, and they made a mental note of it, right? So that's like,
Mm.
oh, I must have this kind of special sense, as against to just turning around and no one's looking at you, and it's like, oh, and they don't count those. Yeah, yeah, we're bad at causality. Us monkeys, us chimps, us apes.
so what does it feel like to have the God presence, or feel
Well,
like
it
somebody is, I don't know.
Well, do you
speaking
remember
as a
when you first met me?
What was that?
Do you remember when you first met me? Because it might
Yes.
have been something like that.
well, I mean, speaking as someone who's had religious experiences when they were younger, I
Hmm.
think there are different types of God experiences, right? But the best way that I have tried to explain it to people who've never had those kind of experiences, it feels like the other is impinging upon you, like a presence, right? Something outside of you is coming into your consciousness, So that's, and I think that's what the God helmet does too. That type of religious experience.
Oh, there's someone in the background, Tobin. The calls are clearly coming from inside the house.
The calls are coming from inside the house. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, from India, Science News. That's interesting, huh? I just you did the Big Z.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, the report landed in India and
Oh,
then was reprinted and referred to by others. But it's
right.
from Laurentian University in Canada.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, it's kind of weird, but that happens a lot. Again, the great filter. What news makes it past the border? And
Yeah, yeah, yes. So I'll check that out. I know that I don't think that there are any mammals that can regenerate limbs. I think that's
mm,
for you know reptiles, amphibians.
Yeah, I think it is.
But I haven't heard of a mammal being able to do that.
mm.
I'm not
Oh,
about,
actually, mammals can, but
yeah,
only in the womb. So if you take a bunch of important cells away at
yeah.
some stage,
Oh
they'll
yeah,
keep.
sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Okay, well, we're about close to an hour. I think I'm going to close things out because I still have to do some work before going to work.
Yes.
No rest for the wicked here. And so tomorrow, normal schedule, 9 a.m. regular show, 9:30 to 10:30 approximately for this show. And thanks everyone for showing up. This has been always a good time. Always enjoy chatting with you all. Thank you, Senior Big Zebra, Alpha
My
Zebra,
pleasure.
and Tillman Templeman. Good seeing you. And thanks everyone in the chat. Shamala Hamla, everyone.
Yeah.
Hamala, hamala.
Shamala.